Hello there, so I was just looking through your memorabilia and I happened to find the first half, roughly, of the programmes from the Manchester United home games from season 2013 to 14, the season following Sir Alex's retirement, and the fateful reign of David Moyes began. So the first fixture here was Manchester United v Chelsea, 26th of August 2013, and it was an 8 PM kick-off. Now what I always like to do when looking at programmes, I look for some of the names who you may not have associated or even forgot about, should I say, in that particular squad. So you can obviously see the difference in squad size between United and Chelsea. And you notice a very young Kevin De Bruyne was number 15 for Chelsea. That was the era of Terry and Cahill, centre-back. And you had Fernando Torres, had a very poor time at Chelsea following his move from Liverpool. The condition of these programmes is good. I always like to have a little look at the posters. That was the Community Shield win, I believe against Wigan Athletic, 2013. We have a sort of scouting report on Mourinho's Chelsea. We know a little bit about the players. I also like to have a look at what Paddy Creerant has to say in these programmes, as well as, if we can find it, the Ambassadors column, where we hear from the words of one of our ambassadors, of the late Sir Bobby Charlton there. This piece was on Gary Neville, by Gary Neville, and then we just have some fan opinions, medal honours of the players there. You can see how many Ryan Giggs has achieved there, most decorated player. The fixture finished 0-0 between United and Chelsea. The second home game programme here was against Crystal Palace. It's a 12:45 kick-off on the 14th of September. We had a piece on David De Gea. Palace squad at the time: Kevin Phillips was a very good goal scorer, Marwan Shamak, he played for Arsenal, Yannick Bolasie. So I have some interesting names there. Now in this programme it is very unique because we have a replica programme here from the fixture between United and Albion, 3 PM kick-off from the 63-64 season. That looks like it was a 50-year anniversary programme there. So we had a word from Smat there. player piece on the opponents, fixtures and results there. Centrepiece was from the divisive signing, Marouane Fellaini. Fixture finished, United 2, Palace 0. And then during the month of September, close to somebody's birthday, our Champions League campaign began against Bayer Leverkusen at home, 17th of September, 7:45. You can see the Champions League fixtures had the gold print there. Notice 7 for Leverkusen at the time was Heung-min Son, who's been a reliable goal scorer for Tottenham. Lars Bender, Emre Can was another one that stands out. And Bernd Leno was the number 1. I believe he's currently at Fulham. A word from Paddy there. It's a vital week kick off our European campaign with a win tonight, given the tough draw we've been handed. And last season's heartbreak will spur us on. Fixtures and results. And a word from the great Sir Bobby there, the ambassador's column. A picture there from a previous Champions League clash. Advertising, a little bit on previous fixtures between United and Leverkusen, and a piece there on each letter from the alphabet. C's for catalysts. The Cliff, which was our old training ground before moving to Carrington. Looks like the centrepiece as a poster based on our 1968 Champions League win, perhaps. I see George Best there with the trophy. Interestingly, that game finished United 4, Leverkusen 2. And then we moved on to the League Cup. This one is a little bit of a collector's item. As you can see, United played Liverpool at home. We have some images there from our previous cup clashes between ourselves and Liverpool. The cup was the Capital One Cup at the time. 25th of September, 7:45 kick-off. Let's have a look at the Liverpool squad from back then. And Sterling formed a very good front three partnership with Sturridge and Suarez. Nearly won the league. Unfortunately for them, they didn't. Victor Moses, I forgot he played for Liverpool. Coutinho. A really large defensive squad there. The fixture actually finished 1-0 to United, as opposed to from a 2-0 win over Palace. Chris Smalling, I believe is now with Roma. Here are some previous famous cup clashes between United and Liverpool. An FA Cup win in 77, 2-1. Famous pictures here. in times gone by. Very nostalgic. Love looking at old pictures. Had a Milk Cup final, 2-1 win for Liverpool here in '83. Hansen, Dalglish and Souness there. 4th round win for United in '99, in treble winning season. United were pretty much on a non-stop course. We lost the Worthington Cup final 2-0, the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff, 2003. Michael Owen digging in the knife there. So we have met Liverpool quite a few times in the Cup, FA Cup, and one of my favourite games as a youngster was the 1-0 Eric Cantona late goal, FA Cup final in '96. Remember that very well, when he set himself up at the edge of the area and volleyed in through a crowd of players. My idol was King Eric. A little bit on the Liverpool squad there. It finished United 1, Liverpool 0. A home game against Albion went with the piece of Rooney hitting the landmark 200 goals. I believe he finished on around 250. So a clash with Albion, the 28th of September, 3 o'clock. Would have been a Saturday kickoff. Look at this. In Albion squad at the time you had Nicholas Anelka, Saido Berahino, Victor Anachibi, Ben Foster was their number 1. Likely our lineup against Leverkusen there in the Champions League. Kagawa, Vidic, Fellaini, Smalling, Carrick, De Gea. Albion squad focus there. Interesting piece here on how Rooney brought up his 200 United goals. We had some stats on when he scored, how many goals in each competition, where he scored, the goals per season. You'll see some lovely peaks here in 9, 10 and 11, 12, and how he scores them. 22 with his potato head, 24 left, 154 right foot. And he did pretty well away from home with 83 goals there. Ended up becoming a record goal scorer. We had a piece on Chris Smalling there. Fortunately, that finished 2-1 to Albion. So a very strange loss there, home loss 2-1 to Albion. Then it was the turn of Southampton to visit Old Trafford on the 19th of October. Piece on how we came behind to win at Sunderland. I believe it may have been 2 goals from Adnan Januzaj. Southampton had a very thin squad. Notice Ricky Lambert there, Jay Rodriguez, Morgan Schneiderlin. United went on to sign. James Ward-Prowse was there, Nathaniel Clyde. And here's an interesting one, 23, who we signed from Southampton, Luke Shaw. A piece from Paddy there. Brian Robson did a piece for the Ambassadors column there. No margin for error against a high-flying Southampton side who have already troubled the Reds in 2013. United's focus needs to be spot on today, says Brian Robson. Old boy here. A Q&A with Clayton Blackmore. There he is with the Premier League with Hughes, Sharp and Giggs. Bit of a unsung hero, if you like. The 1-0 win over Liverpool in the Cup came courtesy of Little P, the effervescent and very likeable guy there. It's one of my fan favourites, cult hero for United. It's very sad when Van Gaal let him go. The 15 Vidic. The manager at the time was Pochettino. He did good things with Southampton. Rooney's free kick in the loss at City there. It was a fabulous free kick. There we go. This piece is actually on free kicks. Piece on Dennis Irwin there. My favourite left back for United ever was Irwin. He's got 7 free kicks. And a Q&A with Ferdinand. This fixture finished 1-1. That brings us back to the Champions League fixture against Real Sociedad. Anton Griezmann was once of Real Sociedad. Claudio Bravo, who Guardiola went on to sign at City, didn't last very long. G is for goalkeepers. So the centrepiece was a squad photo. There. So again, very good condition, these programmes. From the 13-14 season. In our training kits. This shows the amount of teams it looks like from different countries we've played over the years. We played 8 different teams from France, 8 from Spain at the time, 6 from Italy, and interestingly 7 in Hungary. Sociedad squad info there. From the northern Spanish region of Basque. We have a Q&A. Word from the manager. So we have a Q&A. Is that Rafael or Fabio? Rafael. How did that finish? United 1, Sociedad 0. And then it was the turn of the Potters to Old Trafford on the 26th of October, 3 p.m. kickoff. United v Stoke-on-Trent. We had a Q&A with Nani. Let's have a look at the Stoke squad. Remember Kenwyn Jones. Who was that striker they had? Ricardo Fuller, who wasn't in the squad then. Peter Crouch. Ireland, funny little man who went to City. Charlie Adam, beautiful left-footed player. Pennant, Glenn Whelan. Remember Ryan Shawcross, was a solid defender for Stoke. They had two fairly good keepers, Begovic and Sorensen. Poster from a home game against Southampton. He and his eye against their right back, Nathaniel Klein. Anatomy of a match day. A few facts there. 18,500 bottles of beer are drunk. 12,000 pies are eaten. 5,200 plated meals are served in hospitality. Average attendance at the time was very impressive. We have the most highest capacity, should I say, of every club in the league. 55,000 season ticket holders estimated. A piece here on Danny Higginbotham, who came through United's youth system, ended up moving to Stoke. Ex-United legend was Mark Hughes. Was their manager at the time, Shawcross. Stephen Nzonzi, remember him, was a solid player in midfield. There's the piece with the nanny. He could certainly hit a ball. Was up there with Beckham in Scholes, in my opinion, for striking the ball. Scored a few crackers. Oh, and that finished United 3, Stoke 2. I believe Van Persie may have been on fire that game. It had been 24 days since we last played at Old Trafford. This was our fixture against Everton. It was a 1-0 home loss in the beginning of December at 7:45. Interestingly, Everton had a larger squad than United. Let's see, Lukaku standing out there, and from Chelsea, Morelos. Who else did we have? Jelavic, who was a pain in the backside. Ross Barkley, Gareth Barry, record Premier League appearance maker, Gareth Barry. Coleman. We would have had Leighton Baines, yes we would. Not a bad left-footed left back. I had a piece there from our away trip to Leverkusen, where we won 5-0. There may have been a hat-trick for Van Persie potentially in that game. Paddy's piece focused on the loss of Bill Foulkes, United legend, next to Dennis Law there. The king of the Stretford End, he was coined. One of my favourite players for strength and commitment was Valencia. Wasn't very special on the eye, but he gave everything and he was very strong. Giggs there, old man Giggs. We had some stats here from players who had represented both United and Everton, and Blomqvist, Gibson, Mickey Thomas, Ted Buckle, Fellaini, Gidman, Kanchelskis. One of my favourite United players from the 90s, Louis Saha, brilliant striker with Rooney, but he was terribly injury prone. Kidd, Tim Howard, Hughes, Rooney and Phil Neville there. It's a class of 92 out and about. It was the turn of Newcastle United to Manchester on the 7th of December. A piece from Patrice Evra. And I believe this was a consecutive home loss, 1-0 against Newcastle, fortunately. We had the Amiabi brothers. Papacis scored some crackers. The late Cheek Chiot there. There's a little dynamo in midfield. And it was always Newcastle's defence that let them down. And a pan in the backside, goalkeeper Tim Krul. It's a thorn in United's side for many a fixture. Paddy's piece, the Ambassadors column, if we have one. That's again from Brian Robson. We had a 5-1 win in '99, a treble winning season. And finally, let's explore another Champions League tie against Shakhtar Donetsk on the 10th of December, 7:45. Beautiful programme, again excellent condition. Had a very thin squad. Fernanda, Fred, United purchased, front of Shakhtar Donetsk. So we had a poster from our 2008 Champions League win. It's a penalty shootout against Chelsea. Paddy's piece. Ambassador's column was a piece with Gary Neville. Stepping up, manager Moyes must take credit for how United have made light work of a difficult Champions League group. So we did have a solid group performance. Previous managers we've encountered. 8 men have managed against us with 2 or more clubs. Hitzfeld, Ancelotti, Van Gaal, Trapattoni, Lusescu, Eduardo there, spent 3 years at Arsenal. No, Van Persie didn't score a hat-trick, sorry. Against Leverkusen and Valencia. On goal, Evans, Smalling, Nani. We had 5 different goal scorers in that one. A crystal collection there, very beautiful. We look back at United's biggest win on the continent. 6-0 over Shamrock Rovers, 57. And we had a piece on Tom Cleverley. Unfortunately, Cleverley became a scapegoat for many of United's problems, which is very sad to see, because at the time we were crying out for some world-class midfield reinforcement. We really only had Fellaini and an ageing Carrick at the time. But anyway, that's your programmes, home programmes, half of them from 13-14 season. Very beautiful. Thank you for letting me have a look at